Reclaiming Timeless Ways. Mike Traster, Simon Fuller. Glad to have you along for another episode, Mike, and some more information we're going to throw your way in hopes that it'll, education, helping one another, guiding you, giving you some information, and really a lot of what we've talked about, Mike. I've been kind of reflecting lately, or somewhat reflecting, is, you're just trying to, you've learned, in most cases, probably from the hard way. And and through that learning, you're trying to pass along some knowledge to help us, just coexist, not just coexist, but exist together, help one another, guide one another. And one of those core beliefs that you have is, you're sharing your knowledge. Some people share their time, some people have their money at some group, club, organization. Some people give knowledge. You all give to this pot that makes a community work.
Absolutely.
And that's a lot of what this show is. And today's going to be kind of, in a sense, another one of those episodes as we talk about an interesting topic. Mm-hmm. The narcissist empath relationship.
Yeah.
Start off, Mike, for those that break those two words down. What is a narcissist? What is an empath? Empathy, I know, is the root. That's the root of. Explain those two words so we know what we're talking about.
Well, the narcissist is somebody who's hyper self-focused, and very often they want to be the center of attention. Yeah. They want to be the star. They want to be the one whose needs get met and screw everybody else.
Yeah, don't care what the cost is along the way.
Right. I'm a great baseball player.
Yeah.
Help me.
Yeah.
I was a track star. I want your energy, but you didn't have a great track star experience. So I'm up on the food chain. You're lower down. I was an actor or a lawyer or whatever. So I matter and you don't.
Right.
Right? I'm never going to say that, but basically I'm going to pay attention to you while you're filling my tank for free. But the minute you stop, I will get hostile or I'll go away.
Yeah.
Right? I'll reject you.
Right.
I'll push you out. I'll leave you in a dark closet and find a substitute.
Right.
So if you felt in your life like you have a pattern of, why does this always happen to me? Where do all these losers come from? That person was so nice and then boom, how come I got used 8 times and when I needed one thing, oh gee, I'm so sorry, I can't do 8 or 18 or 28 or 58, She seemed like such a nice gal, or he seemed like such a Boy Scout, and it was all BS. Yeah. And they were just users. And when I mentioned it to somebody else, they were like, yeah, we don't talk about him, but.
Yeah.
So, and usually they have a really good method of promoting themselves as being way, way higher on the list, on the trustworthy and admirable list, or they're just very charming, but there's no substance there. They're users.
Yeah.
They will suck you dry.
And have no remorse.
None. No.
In fact, that's the most dangerous component, I think, in some respects.
Right.
Is they do not have any care inside.
No. There's a eel-like fish. It's got a circular series of rows of teeth on it. It attaches to other fish and sucks the life out of them. It's called a lamprey. And they find them in sea waters and fresh waters, both. Lampray. It's like a vampire.
Yeah.
It'll suck the life out of. Well, there's human beings that are like that, and they're narcissists, right? So we've talked about. There's a psychologist who I think is extraordinary. Her name is Dr. Ramani, Ramani, and her last name I think is Dvursula, Dvursula. She's on YouTube. She has a royal case of the you-know-whats for narcissists.
Let's just say she's not a big fan.
She's not a fan. I like it. And she's like, when she talks, her eyes go like this, and they're like glowing coals.
Yeah, it's certainly if you want to dig beyond this episode, which we appreciate you watching us on YouTube,
Right.
look her up.
Oh.
I mean, she's got a lot. I mean, she digs into this very, very deep and gets specific with cases and situations and scenarios. So
Right.
if you find yourself, well, if you're the narcissist, you don't care what we're saying right now anyway. You're not looking into anything because
No.
you don't want to self-reflect.
No.
And I don't say that in a mean way. It's just primarily the truth of that. But if you're on the other end of a relationship, it's kind of the key back end of this,
Right.
you know, and you need a little help, a little guidance. You want to know, what do I do? How do I handle this? Mike, what's my next step? You know?
So the narcissist is really expert at finding the person to suck dry, and we'll call that person an empath.
Yeah.
So the empath is raised up in a family where somebody is the narcissist very often, not always, but often. So they learn to watch for signals. They're always watching because it's a matter of their survival, so to speak.
Right.
Right? Certainly their emotional well-being. So they know when Papa or Mama is going to blow up. So they'll do stuff to smooth the waters beforehand. So they spend their whole life learning to be hypersensitive of other people's needs to the exclusion of their own.
Right.
So everybody else gets their needs amplified, their needs become minimized, or they become invisible.
Right.
So if you have a house and you have, let's say, a parent, one parent's a narcissist, the other one's an empath, right? So one is servile and always running around, helping them, and the other one is the tyrant and they're running the show. They might be very charming when they're getting their way.
Right.
When they stop getting their way, they'll look elsewhere or they'll blow up.
They use a lot of tactics to basically, in a roundabout way, it's almost threatening the other.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe not always physically.
Right.
But
Emotion.
I'm going to cut this off. They'll beat you down.
Right.
To where you essentially need them or want to come back to them.
There was a term I saw recently, exactly, and it had to do with one aspect of this, and it was like one of their techniques, and it's called breadcrumbing, where they withdraw from somebody withdraws from them. So what they'll do is they'll do this. Here, they'll just give them a little tiny, like one piece of popcorn, and that person is so needy. They're so programmed to be needy that they'll go, oh, well, they still love me. See, they gave me that.
Right.
So they'll come back. They'll suck them back in. And they might do that cycle of 5 or 10 or 20 times. Or it might be their whole life. They might literally waste their life getting abused and used up and taken advantage of and not loved or liked or cared for. And then reeled back in with these little breadcrumbs, So anyway, Dr. Ramani, I think she has a functional, brilliant, passionate clarity.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
She's on a mission to educate people to either avoid this or to discover what it is that's injuring them so that they can withdraw.
To help break that chain, that cycle, and give you the strength too to, if you're in that relationship,
Right.
it's
Right.
hard to get out of that.
Oh, it's hard.
It's hard to get out of that, and it sounds like, wait a second, this person is abusing and using you. Wouldn't it be easy to walk away? It's typically not that easy if you're the
It is,
empath.
because you've been built up as the supplier.
Right.
You're the hero.
Yeah.
You're the understanding healer. So a lot of people who feel like they're empaths, I don't believe that an empath is born necessarily or completely like they're a healer, they have healing hands or a sensitive soul or mind. But part of that is maybe real, but a huge part of it also is they're reacting to a narcissist.
Yeah.
So they learn those skills. It's like a deer learning to escape from a wolf.
Right.
Right? So it's survival. So they get a lot of strokes for being a healer, but it also is depleting them. That's why they're so sensitive. Empaths are very sensitive.
Yeah.
They're overloaded. Some of that is internal, it's wiring, but some of it is just they're used up.
Right.
So I would say I'm no expert on the subject. I think I can recognize that relationship
Right.
pretty well a lot, but not always. We're all suckers to a certain style.
Sure. Right.
So
I think
one of
that's
the-
fair.
Right?
Yeah.
So like I'm sucker to the soft voice. The soft voice always, because it seems sincere to me.
Right.
My internal wiring is like, oh, soft voice, sincerity.
Yeah.
And that's when I get had.
Right.
Right? So the question is, okay, so Mike is being transparent here. Why? Because you're going to see that if you're transparent to yourself, you might find out where you get drawn in,
Yeah.
right? And somebody is saying, okay, this is how it happens to me. It's like saying I got a weak ligament in my ankle. It's just a functional reality. So how do I pad my shoe differently, or what surface do I run on to adapt to that?
Right.
How do I become more aware instead of more injured?
Sure.
So Ramani on YouTube, she's brilliant. She has a lot of. I've never seen a single episode that was anything other than valuable.
Right. You will enjoy watching her program.
She's inspired,
Yeah.
and she's like a fire extinguisher, you know, or a bicycle helmet. She will help you to survive and to get free of this. You know, it's a sick relationship.
Yeah. Certainly not a healthy one. And when you're talking good communities and helping one another, maybe not the most fun topic to talk about, but it's a very real topic, and a lot of people suffer from that. And the goal would be to help you break free from that, Mike. I mean, at the end of the day, literally like that fish you were explaining earlier, that is what will happen to you eventually if you're the empath, maybe not physically dead, but inside you. I mean, they'll suck everything out of you.
Right. Yeah, you'd be like powder.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not much life juice left. So,
Yep.
go do some hunting and look up Ramani and find somebody else maybe. Watch a couple different styles. Some of the other people I've watched are a little more dry and just pure analytical than she's got a fire in her belly.
Yeah.
But she's smart.
Yeah. You'll enjoy it.
Smart, fire, and cares.
Yeah. Very good. Dr. Ramani. Check it out. Appreciate you watching yet another episode of Reclaiming Timeless Ways. Until next time, we wish you a great day.